All right. Moving on then to item 9.10, Deputy Mayor.
I'll move it as presented, Your Worship.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Nielsen. Any discussion on that item? Councillor Nielsen.
Forgive me, Mayor McQueen. Question just for clarity is, are you, is council wanting us to say our piece now on item 9.10 or sorry, yeah, 9.10 or when we hit the bylaw stage at 10.6? So this is just a report about the sale. Or should we save our comments for 10.6?
I would save it for 10 points or to the bylaw part. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mayor McQueen.
Okay, thank you. I mean, is there comments to the report itself, like in general, that you wish to speak or?
I think, okay, so maybe one comment I would have is there were some questions in from
today?
There were questions from members of the community why the report doesn't have staff recommending the sale of the lands. So I'll say my opinion on that, and then I would maybe ask Clerk Martel how come that isn't a recommendation. But my opinion would be that we've entered into the conditional sale. So does staff need to recommend we finish a sale that we've already agreed to? Would be my question. But I'm assuming that staff don't need to recommend that we finish a sale that we've already agreed to. So that's why the recommendation isn't there. It's just one of the comments from the group.
Yeah, and certainly before I go to the clerk, there was it's in the bylaw, I think, where it shows the purchase of offer to purchase. I think that gives you all those details of all the points and conditions and that. But I will go to the clerk for further advice. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor McQueen, to Councillor Nielsen. That is correct. Council, this report was simply on the process of what's happened with this and why the bylaw is on the agenda for Council's consideration. Council entered into the conditional offer and stating the conditions, and this report was just to let you know that the conditions have all been waived, and now it's council's time to do what they said in the conditional offer. So that's where we're at now, and that's why there's no staff recommendation to proceed with the sale. Council can make that decision upon the passage or the not passing of that bylaw.
Right. Thank you for that, Madam Clerk. And I guess for clarity, I mean, it says the land deal will close within 180 days. Could close if there's conditional conditions to that purchase of offer of purchase. They can be shortened up if they wish, right? They can shorten that time period if they wish, but you know, look at it the same as buying a house, right? You have subject to whatever, and there's a certain time period it goes through, and then there's a date that's set up to close. All right. Any other comments, questions to that? Okay, so hang on. I didn't write that down. So that was moved by Councillor. Sorry, can you read, Madam Clerk? Who moved the second? That I didn't write it down because I was flipping.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Desai, seconded by Councillor Nielsen. The council received staff report CLS 2204 for information.
That's what I thought it was. Okay, thank you for that. All in favor of that motion? That is carried unanimously. Okay, there are 6 bylaws, 2022-05 to 2022-010. Councillor Nielsen, are you wishing to pull one of those bylaws?
Absolutely, sir. I would love to pull item 10.6.
Oh, sure. So that's bylaw 2022-010. Okay. Are there any other bylaws wish to be pulled by council? If not, can I have a mover and a seconder for the remaining bylaws? Councillor Little, Councillor Nielsen. Moved by Councillor Little, second by Councillor Nielsen, that bylaws 2022-05, 2022-06, 2022-07, 2022-08, and 2022-09 be be read first, second, and third time and finally pass, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign and seal the same notwithstanding any contrary provisions of council. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Yeah, that's carried unanimously. Okay, so the one that was pulled, Councilor Nielsen, are you moving that bylaw?
I will move the bylaw and I'll also ask for a recorded vote, sir.
Okay. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor. Okay, moved by Councilor Nielsen, second by Deputy Mayor, that bylaw 2022-010, purchase and sale of Talisman lands be read first, second, and third time and finally passed, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign and seal the same notwithstanding any contrary provisions of council. Any discussion on that motion? Councilor Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor McQueen. We've had a very significant number of members of the public come to tonight's meeting who are very interested, invested, and involved in what's been going on in this process. It is exciting to me that we have a community that is engaged and invested in the municipality. It is important that people have a chance to be able to speak. And I do feel it is disappointing that because of the number of people who wanted to speak, it would have been very difficult. Here we are at 6:30 to try to have everybody have the full 3 minutes. So I did ask to have that lowered to 1 minute, and it's unfortunate that was the case. But we did get in excess of 75 emails probably. I know myself, I received lots of phone calls. A few I was able to answer, a few not, because as a member of council, I'm also a business owner who is busy with that, and a parent and all the good joys of the other things in our life. So we're not able to catch every phone call that came our way. There are a few things that I think I'd like to say just to kind of maybe refute a couple of the items that are getting tossed around, a couple of the comments that are being made. And, you know, I don't begrudge the people. They are going with the information that they have. The whole process itself, admittedly to me, is frustrating that we can't be more open, that we can't be more explaining of how we're going and where we're going and why we're so excited and why it looks like we're crazy people because we're excited about this crazy idea. But unfortunately, the process is we're not allowed to talk about certain things. And doesn't matter who gets elected or who doesn't get elected, those people are going to be bound by the same things we got bound today. So now that we are allowed to talk, here goes a couple of things. Number one, there's lots of comments about the fact that the lands are part of the Niagara Escarpment and should be protected. You're right. These lands are very much a part of the Niagara Escarpment. They're also zoned recreational and developable, and they're the only lands zoned that way throughout the Niagara Escarpment and Great Highlands that aren't currently actually being utilized. It would be an unfortunate situation if we didn't take advantage of the opportunities that existed here. So in the last, you look at my lifetime, right? 40 years, Talisman operated as a functional resort that drew people here for tourism, that had a place where families grew up and families fell in love with the area, that caused those people to buy homes and are now members of this community because of what Talisman offered in the beginning. The last 14 years, Talisman hasn't operated. And for the majority of that time, council and members of the community have been trying to figure out ways where we can get Talisman back, or at least some essence of what Talisman was. So while I respect that the Niagara Escarpment should be protected, and will do my best to protect lands throughout the Niagara Escarpment that exist, that are part of those protected areas, this one spot is the only spot where this can happen. And I think it's important that we take advantage of this opportunity. Number two, community residents have expressed their desire not to see the lands developed. Very true. We've gotten 35 people, 33 of them were engaged tonight. We've gotten countless emails and everything. As a business owner very close to the lands in question, I get a lot of people who stop into my shop specifically to talk about this issue. I get stopped at the grocery store. I get stopped at the gas station. It's awesome. I love the engagement. The reality is, from what I've heard, 70% of the people who talk to me are in favor of what's going on. They're in favor of council moving forward with trying to take advantage of the opportunity that's here. They're excited that we can have a new venture that can draw. When the current owner of the lands in the middle purchased, there was a lot of excitement down in Kimberley. My business was located there, and I went to the event where Brian Ellis explained some of his ideas about what he wanted to do. And there was a buzz in the air as people were excited for something to come back. Here we are 14 years later. That deal didn't work out, but that's still the objective, is to bring that buzz back, to bring some energy back. We have a severe lack of accommodations in Grey Highlands. And so the idea that there's a potential for a hotel to come back there is fantastic. We have a huge crisis when it comes to the Airbnbs, causing traffic and problems on people's backyard and people's property. Well, they're here because there's nowhere else for people to stay. There's no venues, there's no events, there's nothing going on for people for accommodations. Well, here's an opportunity in a spot where the hotel existed before. We're not trying to take lands that are pristine and gorgeous and destroy them. We're trying to bring back what already existed for over 40 years. Number three, the appraisal not being done. That's actually factually incorrect. The Municipality of Grey Highlands did hire a third party that had nothing to do with ourselves, nothing to do with Think Compass, and nothing to do with the owners in the middle, that did an independent appraisal of the lands. Their appraised value was 1.27 million. Obviously, none of us agreed with that price tag. Hence, we did not accept an offer anywhere near what that price tag came in at. It is important to realize that when the municipality received the offer from Westway, it was the first offer that came in that was a concrete offer. And we had already been in the process of marketing these lands for months. The lands at the top of the valley have been in working orders of the municipality for years as holding on to those lands to be developed. It's like the municipality owns the downtown Markdale. There's no intention of the municipality keeping those lands and turning them into parkland. They're being kept so that we can develop them when the opportunity is right. Here's the opportunity, so we're taking advantage of it. That kind of explains the other part, which is a question that keeps getting asked, is how come we didn't, accept or review or take into account ECB's offer? So one of the things is we'd already entered into a conditional offer that was public, and we heard all your complaints and questions and concerns when that was made public. When you've made a deal or have entered into a contract, you can't just go, oh, sorry, I got a better offer, I'm going to go run over here now. You have to follow through with the process. While I understand ECB has come with an offer, their offer is maybe on the surface a financially bigger dollar upfront, but might represent a significant difference in what could happen in the future. And I understand that there are members of our community who do not like the direction that this could potentially go. However, as I stated before, I feel from people I've talked to and people I've heard, the vast majority are in agreement with what council is doing. My last and final comment will be a comment that was made, the 33 people who came tonight are all against it. Obviously, this means something. If you're for an item, you're not necessarily going to come yell at council to say, hey, I'm so excited for this. So we didn't have anybody come tonight that said, good job. But council has also received dozens of emails in the last 2 days that have said, I'm in favor of this. Not just residents of Markdale saying, yes, bulldoze the valley to make me feel better, but residents that live in Amick, residents that live in the valley, residents that live in Eugenia, in Epping, and all over the region close to the lands we're talking about, have told us that they're in favor of something happening. There's an opportunity here that council is taking advantage of. I sincerely hope all 7 of us are in agreement and approve and move this forward. And I know we're going to get yelled at. That is the wonderful part of this job. And I'm here to get yelled at. I'm still doing what I think is best for Grey Highlands and moving this forward. Thank you, Mary McQueen, and my fellow councillors for taking the time to listen to me. I'm done.
Thank you for those comments, Councillor Nielsen. And just a couple things different, that with an NEC plan, it's not zoning, it's designation, just in a sense, they don't call it zoning in the Niagara Escarpment. And the other thing, 14 years ago, I think you were figuring it was 2014 when we made the sale, which was 8 years ago. In the
2008 was the last time it operated though, right?
Oh yeah.
2008 Talisman closed. So 14 years ago, there's Talisman was still operating. That was my point, sorry.
Actually, it was March of 2010 when the hydro got shut off, is when it ceased to operate, and then that forced the closure, because you don't pay for hydro, they don't stay on, right? So yeah, I thought you were saying about the buzz, because I know the buzz of the new owners of Brian and Phil was after 2014, and there was a buzz. very much. I remember each July 1st. Now we're gonna do this and the naming and all that, right? The naming of Talisman Springs, Talisman Mountain Springs, I think it was, right? So thank you for those comments. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Worship. Obviously, this has been a hard issue for all of us. I know all of us have read the emails. All of us have fielded messages, voicemails, phone calls. I just wanted to make a few comments here. First of all, people have called me. I've responded to their voicemails, called them back, and I've been accused of financial impropriety. I take offense to that. I invite these people to request a formal inquiry into my finances, and they will find that my integrity has remained intact. I can appreciate that they disagree with me, but to question my integrity is something I cannot stand by, and that is uncalled for. That's a personal attack. I've been told that I'm doing this to make some money. That's a direct quote from a person that I spoke to on the phone. Again, I invite them to launch a formal complaint with the Integrity Commissioner if they truly think that I have profited from this. I believe that a property that was formerly a commercial property, that being a commercial property again, not only would it bring more jobs for young people in our community, which was something I was unable to find, it also creates a commercial tax base. It adds a large employer to our municipality. I've had people who've told me that the buyers want to pave over the Beaver Valley. I'm not sure where they're getting that information from. I've asked these people that there's checks and balances in place. There's the NEC, there's conservation authorities, there's a public planning process, which ensures effectively that such things do not happen. And the response I get is, well, we don't have faith in those organizations. I can't argue that point. That's a subjective, having faith in an organization is a subjective point, and I can't argue a subjective point. I know this has been taxing for all of us, and I can appreciate that there's people who disagree with us, but I've quite frankly, I've been disappointed with the vitriol that has been directed at council and staff, the accusations that have been directed at council and staff, and just the absolute lack of decorum that has existed in this. I get people complaining that we've lost decorum in our politics. We're a democracy, and our politics represents elected from among those of us who wish to run for this office. So for someone from the public to tell me that decorum doesn't exist in our government anymore is a bit rich when they refuse to show decorum. This has been an emotional subject for all of us. I understand it's been an emotional subject for the members of the public. It's been an emotional subject for us as councillors. It's been an emotional subject for members of staff. And quite frankly, I wish we could have had some more decorum involved. The accusations, the partial truths, I'll leave it at that, Your Worship. This was not a good demonstration of democracy.
Okay. Thank you for your comments, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Allwood, I think you're wish to speak. Go ahead.
Thank you, Worship, through you to council. This issue obviously is one of the biggest ones we're going to deal with in this term of council. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. One of the pillars of our strategic plan talks about spearheading opportunities for the development of the municipal-owned land in the Beaver Valley. I think that we've adhered to our procedural bylaw and municipal act as we've moved through this, and the confidentiality that's required during certain phases of the project moving forward, we've adhered to. But I'm confident as the project moves forward that the respect for the natural beauty of the land, as well as fostering a vibrant local economy for generations, is what's going to happen out of this project. Any development that happens in this area will have to meet the strategic requirements, both the Great Sable Conservation Area and the Niagara Escarpment Commission, and adhere to the official plans of Grey Highlands and Grey County. So I share some of the deputy mayor's concerns about the sort of responses that we've been getting, and even heard today in open forum. I mean, it's misinformation, there are accusations and threats, but I am confident that from my own perspective that we're acting in the best interest of the majority of ratepayers in Grey Highlands. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Allwood. Are there any other comments? Go ahead, Councillor Little.
Sorry, Your Worship, I thought I could speak, but I may have to wait. Go to someone else, please.
Okay, sure, no problem. Other comments from other councillors? Just before you go, Councillor Nielsen, I just want to make sure there's either others that have to speak. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Nielsen.
For a personal note, I've commented to a few people. We have a council that's a pretty diverse representation of this community. We have members that are on all sides of the political spectrum. We're all here representing people who voted for us to be here. And the 7 of us seem to agree that this is a good idea. If that's the case, then there has to be some truth to that, because the 7 of us have actively disagreed on a lot of items. We've had great debates, we've had great discussions, and you have the 7 of us here telling the public, we understand your concerns, we understand your fears, we are doing what we think is best because we want Grey Highlands to succeed as much as the ratepayers do. That's why we're here. That's why we ran. So I'm pretty proud of our council, and I know that there's a lot of people who disagree with that right now, and I can't help them with that. But I just thought that personal point might make sense to some people.
Okay, thank you. I'll just make one. We all take our job serious. Every one of us take our job serious, for sure. Councillor Allen.
Thank you. I agree with all the points that have been mentioned so far. Some of the emails made reference to us being elected to represent individuals' wishes or desires for the community. My thought is that we're elected to speak for the residents of Grey Highlands. The 7 of us have been elected by, well, we weren't voted on, we weren't elected by the majority of Grey Highlands residents, but we were all successful in getting a seat at the table. And that's what we are doing, I'd say, but I'll speak just for myself, that that's what I am doing, whether it's this decision or the Markdale ice surface or anything that we talk about. I'm making decisions based on what I think is best for the municipality. We've had, as somebody said, lots of disagreements on topics. But excuse me, I've lived in Grey Highlands for 49 years. I have 2 kids that live in Grey Highlands, 4 grandchildren. One has just built a brand new house here. They're here to stay. I'm not going to make decisions that I think will deter people like that from staying in Grey Highlands or coming back to Grey Highlands. So for those of you that did say that I'm not making decisions based on their desires, well, I'm sorry in this case, but hopefully other decisions that I've made have been what you would have wanted. I can't please everybody all the time. We're all doing the best we can and what we think is the best for Grey Highlands. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Allen. Councillor Little. Take your time.
I'll try again. The Talisman property is, for a long time, has been not only seen as a missed opportunity, because it was a once thriving commercial enterprise that fell onto hard times. Subsequent owners were unsuccessful in revitalizing the area. And so in that sense, it's a missed opportunity. As Councillor Nielsen said, it's on a recreation area designation, escarpment recreation area. Just refreshed my memory by looking that up again to see how that was defined, what are the permitted uses. And I think, and the Niagara Escarpment Plan was just revised and passed revision in 2017, June of 2017. So it's not like an old document. It's been recently reviewed, and the escarpment recreation area designation, permitted uses, criteria, et cetera, are relatively unchanged and certainly permit development in the area. Of course, balancing it within the environmental needs of the beauty of the escarpment itself. So I think it's realistic to consider this in the terms of the opportunity that's there for development to benefit all the residents of the municipality, and including the valley, of course, along with strong environmental protection, along with the other parts of the planning process that we've mentioned, official plans, Grey Sauble Conservation Authority regulations. I'm missing something, but yeah, there's a quite a high level of protection in the Niagara Escarpment area, along with the economic benefit. That's been sort of a missed opportunity that's gone on for quite a while, and we've heard from this council, the last council. We're hearing from residents what's going on with Talisman, what can council do, and so that's why that was a objective in our strategic plan that we developed with a lot of public engagement at the beginning of this term of council. The other piece to this property is the financial burden that's been exerted on the municipality. And when I say municipality, I mean all the ratepayers, from a failed opportunity, I would say. I don't really want to get into details about that, but we know that the municipality acquired the golf course lands because it was a default. And so, this is not a healthy situation. And so there's this ongoing financial burden. Finally, I would say that there's been criticism of Westway. People have Googled, people have based their opinion on a presentation that was made in May this council has had ongoing conversations with representatives from Westway. And I have to say, I respect council. I respect the deliberations that council has the care that council has taken. And I'm feeling quite, even though it doesn't look like it or sound like it, I'm feeling quite optimistic and actually excited to see this process, begin to take place with full disclosure, with full and open communication, with significant public involvement in what is going to happen on this land. I am very, very sorry that people have been negatively impacted, emotionally impacted by this. And that makes this even harder. But we're doing what we think is right and will provide a positive benefit for the municipality, for its residents. And that's why we're proceeding. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council.
Thank you, Councillor Little, for those thoughtful words, and I know that yourself, and we'll say all of council, every election we go to, we put our name out there. This council does its homework. It's engaged, and some would ask, why in the world would you ever do that? But we're committed. We're a committed bunch, right? And right through to today's meeting and where we are today. So, and with the help of great staff, we do our best and make the best decision moving forward, collectively or individually. But there are 7 of us. That's why, through democracy, as the deputy mayor says, there's 7 of us around here to make decisions. So, and we know it takes majority to move things forward. And I will say that I've invested 25 years of my life into this municipality and on the governance of it. And again, somebody would say, why would you ever do that? And but we're here because we want to be here. I'm here because I want to be here. I want to do the best for my community as well, right? And I feel that's the same with everybody else, because if you're not here for that reason, you're here for the wrong reason. And any other comments from Councillor Valiquette?
Thank you, sir. Just really quickly, I agree with everything that has been said, and this is not an easy job at all. But I want to thank staff for everything that has brought us to this moment. I want to thank the people that I share this table with. We are a diverse group of people. And I don't always walk away smiling after speaking with everyone. Again, this is a tough job, but I am very grateful for our ability to get to certain points. And I also want to thank each and every member of our public, be it a Grey Highlands resident or not, no matter how you came to a decision on this. I would like to thank you for being engaged. And I request of you to please continue engagement. No matter what it is that you're saying with your voice, please say it in a respectful manner. I think the people at this table deserve for this job to not be made any more difficult than it is, quite frankly. But I do request that, and I look forward to this opening up in which more engagement can happen, more voices can be heard, And I request that of everyone that sent me an email, everyone that sent me a text, you know, the DMs, everything, please continue what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. And at this time, I want to go to our head of staff and our CAO, CAO Govern. I think you have wished to speak a few words or had a few words or a few comments.
Thank
So
you.
you're supposed to provide advice. You're providing advice here, right?
That's my job, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak through you to council and to members of the public. I've been in municipal government now for almost 17 years. 2.5, almost 3 years ago, this council put their trust in me as their CAO. I can honestly say in my 17 years in municipal government, I have never worked with a more effective council. This council is diverse. I speak to other CAOs who have much, much larger councils that don't have a diverse council. And with a diverse council, you get opinions across the board. We don't always agree. And like Councillor Valiquette said, sometimes we walk away and we're not happy with the decision, or we're frustrated with how things went. But I can honestly say, when I stepped into this role, the mandate of moving forward with the priority of economic development was council's #1 objective for me. And we started down a process that had been lagging and dragging. And we made suggestions and we gave council advice. And the staff that work at the municipality are experts in their field. We are so fortunate to have the experience that we have for such a small municipality. Every step of the way, council has asked questions. They've messaged, and I laugh because they start out by saying, I'm sorry to bother you, but where are we going with this? What's this? Those questions have been so important because this decision hinges on the expert experience that staff have passed on and recommended to this council. And council has taken that advice, dissected it, come back and asked other questions. You have followed policy, you have followed procedure, and you have remained steadfast and hopefully still do. I don't know where this is going to go, but I have a bit of a feeling. But frankly, you work for less than a living wage in this job. My biggest concern is the election and what type of people we're going to attract going forward. Because we need to know that in this democratic society, this is how the process works. The people speak and vote, the people that they believe are going to make the best decisions for our municipality. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, not just me, staff who've had the privilege to work with this council are in support of everything you've done, every decision you've made, every single difficult phone call, email, text message you take at 11:30 at night or 6:30 in the morning. You still remain passionate about this municipality and where we can take this and where we can go. Respecting all members of the community, not just one area, the whole entire municipality, the whole 882 square kilometers of hardworking taxpayers that live in the community. You make decisions on behalf of them. I'm so proud to be a part of this organization. I am honored that council put their trust in me 2.5 years ago to take this journey and to move forward. It is a privilege to be the CAO of this municipality, and I am 100% proud of the job I do, the job staff do, and more importantly, the underpaid, overworked members of council do every day. Thank you for your service, and I wish you Godspeed. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Madam CEO. But I will share something with you, Madam CEO, that there's one thing as a mayor that I won't do, and it was suggested last fall, and that was get on a bull and go for a bull ride. I said, I will never do that. He said, well, we'll get big ticket. I said, I will not ride that bull. So there's one thing I will not do. I sort of said that to sort of cheer everyone up, but yeah, that was one thing I won't do. It was, I don't know how serious it was, but gosh, darn it all. Can you imagine, Danielle? No.
I bet there's a few, I was going to say a joke. I bet there's a few people who could see you on a bull right now, but I'll let that go, sir.
Goes the hat. Anyway, thank you, Madam CEO, for those words. And I always sum it up this way. It's called Team Grey Highlands. That's what we are as a team. So, okay. Are there any other comments? I do have some comments afterwards, but are there any other comments? Madam Clerk, Councillor Nielsen has requested a recorded vote. So at this time, I see there's no other comments. Ask you to do the honors of that service, please.
Thank you, Mayor McQueen. A recorded vote was requested by Councillor Nielsen. So we'll start the voting with him. That bylaw 2021-010 being a bylaw to finalize an agreement of purchase and sale between the Municipality of Grey Highlands and West Bay Capital Inc. for lands referred to as Upper and Lower Talisman be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign and seal the same, notwithstanding any contrary provision of council. Councillor Nielsen.
In favor.
Councillor Valakat.
In favor.
Councillor Allen.
In favor.
Councillor Allwood.
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Desai.
In favor.
Councillor Little.
In favor.
And Mayor McQueen.
In favor.
By unanimous vote, that motion has been carried.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And I have, through the assistance of staff, created a statement from myself representing council. And at this time, I will read that out. As the public is aware, on today's agenda, there was a bylaw to approve the sale owned lands in the Beaver Valley, which has just passed through a recorded vote. Since the agenda has been published, council and staff have received a number of questions and comments related to this item, and I would like to address this. Since 2019, when the municipality released our 2019-2022 strategic plan, council has been committed to supporting our goals of spearheading opportunities for development of municipally owned lands in downtown Markdale and properties within Beaver Valley. The municipality owned lands in Beaver Valley that comprised the former Talisman Resort were always part of the recreational designation, as pointed out by a few of you here right now, or just a few minutes ago. The recreational designation lands under the Niagara Escarpment Plan. These lands were never public lands in the first place, but were only acquired by the municipality through tax sale and foreclosure. The definition of public lands, as per the Public Lands Act, includes lands designated as crown lands, school lands, and clergy lands. Throughout the entire process of marketing these properties, council has assessed opportunities based on the benefits that would be provided to the residents across Grey Highlands for now and for the generations to come, and look at opportunities through social, culture, environmental, and economic lens. The loss of the Talisman Resort and the benefits it provided to the community has been significant. The revitalization of the lands in a way that is respectful for the community values will provide tremendous opportunity for all the residents of Grey Highlands. The community at large is feeling the impacts of increased tourism, aging infrastructure, and financial pressures related to the increased interest in the municipality. The sale of the municipally owned lands will provide an infusion of capital to the municipality to support the needs of all residents of Grey Highlands and will encourage the revitalization of recreational lands that were once an iconic part of our community. The lands in question and any development, the lands in question or any development related to them is extremely complex. For years now, private sector owners have tried to resurrect the former Talisman Resort with no success. The very nature of the lands, which are governed by a variety of land use agencies, including the Niagara Escarpment Commission, Grey Sawmill Conservation Authority, the official plans of both Grey County and Grey Highlands ensure the protection and direction of these sensitive lands and requires that any development is compatible with the values established through these planning agencies. While recently there has been significant interest in the lands in question, there were no offers to purchase submitted to the municipality prior to the offer of purchase and sale received by Westway. Council reviewed Westway's offer not only from a financial perspective, but also in the terms of the ability to move the project forward in a timely and sustainable manner, and their commitment to aligning their plans with the community's vision for the Beaver Valley and the municipality at large. Council has considered all the comments received from the public during the Beaver Valley visioning process and comments received related to the offer of purchase and sale from Westway. While we are hearing from passionate and vocal individuals who oppose the sale, there are many other residents and business owners who have spoken to us about the importance of the economic impact and the revitalization of the former Talisman Resort lands. The council members who sit before you today are residents of Grey Highlands, who own businesses in Grey Highlands. We raise families in Grey Highlands, and the items we deliberate and decisions we ultimately make are made with the best interests of our neighbors, our friends, and the residents and business owners in this great community. As a part of the now approved agreement, the fulsome public engagement process with the community will take place, facilitated by the planning partnership, who will be engaged by Westway to guide the planning and the community engagement process. Westway is well aware of the importance of these lands, and council is confident that the community will be excited about the Westway plans and will recognize the benefits that the revitalization will provide for all of us. We understand many people have questions, and we have compiled response frequently asked questions on our greyhighlands.biz website under the business opportunity page. And again, thank you, council, for everything you've done and the engagement that you have through this process and all the other decisions we make here at council. Thank you. All right. I don't know if there's any other comments.
Can I request a 15-minute break, Your Worship, please?
Sure. I know it's so. Yeah, we think back to the day. Was it last time we adjourned at 3:27? Remember that day? That was a short one. All right. 7:21. So 7:35. Is that okay? Okay. See you at 7:35. Okay. I don't know if the deputy mayor is back yet, or it is. There he is. Okay, it's 7:35. We'll we'll move on to notice of motions. Notice of motion that's placed on there. I guess I could ask for two things. I can pass this over to the deputy mayor, or is there somebody willing to move and second this motion without me stepping out? Councilor Little. Okay, moved by Councilor Little, second by deputy mayor. Deputy mayor, are you seconding that? I thought that's what he left.
I will second, sir.
Okay, Councilor Nielsen seconds. Okay. Any discussion on that? If I do, then I do need to step out of the chair. So any discussion on the notice of motion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? That's carried unanimously. Okay, thank you. That saved some time.